All right, folks, it's time for another edition of World Edition. I'm actually at location today at one of these food courts, and we'll see what's going on in the world. And all along those lines, I did know that I was watching The Hill yesterday, and they were talking about the race for the White House, and they were also talking about some of these key midterm races, like in Michigan and definitely in Maine, and the races between the established candidates and those that are considered more on the progressive side and all along those lines. But I'm gonna bring in Rick and see what he's got going on in his world and what's happening with him and all along those lines. But definitely looks like that was an interesting story that I was seeing in The Hill as I was watching it last night and was preparing for this show. I think I was going to be doing it from home, but then I woke up and there was a whole lot of Spectrum trucks in my house. So it looks like they're upgrading. So it looks like they might be going to Google Fiber or something like that. So they're upgrading. So that impacted me doing the show, but it means it will be faster on tomorrow and later on and everything like that. So how are things going with you, Rick? And what are you seeing in Drudge and other places?
Gas is national average 4.11 a gallon. This begins the 13th week of gas above $4 a gallon nationally since Trump started the Iran war. This over the next 3 to 6 months, we can expect to see grocery and other prices rise, especially since Trump started a whole new crop of tariffs across 60 countries. And I tried to buy a little thing for $35 out of Britain, a little piece of costume, a brooch for my wife, and it's going to be another $15
Wow.
in tariffs, thanks to Trump. Before Trump, it was zero to buy something for $35 from England, which is this going to bring manufacturing back to the U.S.? No. But since Trump introduced tariffs in April of last year, job growth in the U.S. has been essentially flat. We've added maybe 200,000 jobs, when during a normal year and a half, we would have added more than 2.5 million jobs. So there you go.
So not good in that regards, and not at all, and everything like that. I did hear that some people were saying that this could be the thing that costs Trump some popularity, even among his fan base and everything like
that. It was a misguided war. It can't be won without a huge commitment across many years of boots on the ground, which would lead to the deaths of thousands and perhaps tens of thousands of American troops. It's an unwinnable war just through air power. You can't do it just by bombing. And so what are we going to do? Over the weekend, the Trump administration did the very obnoxious and stupid thing of lowering the death toll. Instead of 18 American troops dying in this war, they're saying it was 14 because the most recent 4 of them died during a ceasefire. So even though Trump got them killed in this war, they're not going to count them because supposedly we weren't at war at some point in the past few weeks when they got killed.
So we weren't at war, so it doesn't count. Oh, that's an interesting thing.
It's the worst, most cowardly bullshit from an incompetent administration.
Yeah, that's very cowardly on his part and everything like that. What else are you seeing in Drudge? I know there's got to be some interesting news. I did not look at it. I did see that he was putting together some proposals.
I mean, the headline shows Trump looking sad, and the headline is stuck because there's nothing he can do in Iran that will change the situation in Iran.
Right.
I keep saying this, but what it might take to bring down the regime is Iraq invaded them in 1980 with 250,000 troops, 2,000 tanks, hundreds of fighter planes, and they fought Iran for 6 years, and the regime didn't fall. So how did expect the regime? It was a dumb war. It was a dumb decision. How did Trump expect the regime to fall from dropping a bunch of bombs on him when a full-on invasion with 250,000 soldiers for 6 years did not bring him down?
No, that didn't bring him down at all. There was no sense of bringing him down and everything like that. Are you seeing any new proposals that he's proposing?
No, but here's another headline from Drudge that the Pentagon has just updated their Iran database, and we've had 600 casualties in the Iran war now. So 18 deaths and close to 600 wounded. So it's, I mean, compared to, it's, Vietnam had 58,000 war dead. So it's small compared to that, but it's hundreds of Americans and growing.
Yeah, that's a lot going
on. SpaceX stock price.
Oh, how's that doing?
Not great. In the past week or so, Elon Musk has lost, because he owns a lot of stock in his own company, he's lost $650 billion thanks to the drop in SpaceX. So I'll pull up the stock, but I think it's now worth less than when it was IPO'd a month ago.
Okay.
Let's take a look. So, yeah, it was IPO'd at 164. Now it's 110. So you've 111. So if you bought the IPO, you're now down more than 30%.
So you're down if you bought it at that point and everything like that.
Yeah.
What's going on in Israel? Any new nothing? Because that's another war that Trump is involved in. So anything going on there or in the Ukraine war? We could ask Sasha, but he's not here yet.
No, but here's another Drudge headline. The U.S. has blown up in the Gulf of Mexico 67 boats that they claim were carrying cocaine, killing 221 people. Other people say that there's no evidence since all the evidence was blown up when they blew the ships out of the water, that whether they were fishermen or carrying cocaine or fishermen hired to carry cocaine. Anyway, all the evidence is at the bottom of the ocean. And the amount of cocaine coming into the U.S. has not changed one bit. Because people who know say that where they were blown up, it makes no sense that they were carrying cocaine to the U.S., that even if they were carrying cocaine, they were carrying it to the Caribbean because they were still way too far away to be able to make it to the coast of the U.S. In boats the size that were blown up.
Yeah, it sounds like that's not a good situation. It sounds like that's a lot of more Trump hyperbole.
Let's see if we can find something that isn't. There was a guy drove into shot by the police. They tracked him down, killed him in Berlin, was having a pride fair. Guy drove into the crowd, killed one, injured like 50.
Wow. I did see that there was some sports controversy. Apparently, in the WNBA, there's some sort of scandal that's going on. I didn't get all the details, but it sounds like it might be gambling or point shaving or something like that. But it's involving the WNBA, the women and everything like that. So I don't know if you saw anything about that. And also I saw that a TikTok star, Rebecca Luna, died at the age of 49 after a battle with early onset Alzheimer's.
So no, I didn't see that. So okay, so let's see. This is from
Oh, this
Fox
is what I was
News.
hearing.
Fixed it. Um, This is Fox News headline: WNBA rocked by multiplayer cheating scandal as
Right.
DeJounte Carrington calls out her ex, Melissa Smith. So I guess they used to date,
Mm-hmm.
and she's accusing her ex-girlfriend of being in a point shaving gambling ring, getting paid by gamblers. But
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Hold
That's
on.
what.
Hold on.
Yep. Holding on.
Um, so no,
Yeah, Rick.
hold on. This is garbage. This is Fox News garbage, as near as I can tell. But there's no cheating scandal. That one woman, is accusing her ex-girlfriend of cheating with other players in the NBA, not about basketball, just hooking up. So
Oh,
Fox News is pushing bullshit with a misleading headline. And if you go to AI, there is no WNBA gambling scandal. So I don't know what the fuck Fox is up to, except its usual bullshit. There's no gambling scandal. There's one girl cheated on her girlfriend with other WNBA players, according to a post that one of the exes put up on Twitter, on X. So no.
now Trump is trying to claim that he's going to have a 4.7
That's
social security bump. So are you? That's the story I was hearing, that it was some sort of political thing that he was claiming and everything like that. So do you see anything about that? Because I saw that in Newsbreak, but then they're asking what's gonna be the cost of the 4.7 social security bump.
um,
But that was in Newsbreak.
okay, here it is. So the Trump bump refers to higher than average annual cost of living adjustments. So Trump is bragging about this?
Yes.
Because this is bad news. Because every year they adjust people's Social Security payments based on inflation. So the analysts project the next bump to be between 3.8 and 4.7%, based on between nearly 4% and 5% inflation over the rest of the year. So Trump's not bragging about this, is he? Because
I think he's bragging about it. He's bragging about it.
That's completely simple-minded and bullshit. He's saying, well, yeah, your Social Security payments are going up because of the inflation I caused by starting this stupid war in Iran, which is causing the highest inflation in 4 years. So,
and there's also a headline coming out of the GOP, because there's going to be some testimony from Fauci, and we know Fauci was very much involved in the COVID pandemic and everything like that. But one of the GOP senators says he doesn't expect to get much out of him. So he was never one of their fans and everything, and he vice versa. He wasn't their fan, and they weren't his fans, and everything like that. But definitely looks like he's going to be testifying.
They're trying to blame COVID on Fauci,
right?
Which is, at the very least, bullshit. Because they don't want to blame it on Trump and Trump disbanding the pandemic response team, the early response team, or how he handled it. 1.4 million Americans have died from COVID, and Republicans, conservatives have been in denial about it for the past more than 6 years. Trump said it was going to be no big deal. Trump politicized it, but it was the most deadly event in U.S. history. And blaming Fauci is part of trying to deflect blame from Trump.
Trump likes to deflect blame for everything because now he's saying that LeBron James might be a racist now that LeBron James has gone to Philadelphia, and he's also claiming that he likes Michael Jordan more than LeBron James because he and Michael Jordan played golf together and everything like that. So he got involved in the whole GOAT debate and everything like that. But definitely, it looks like LeBron James will be playing his last couple of years in Philadelphia, and that could be a very powerful team. But we'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, Trump was even getting involved in that.
He signed a 2-year deal for a total of $8 million, which for the greatest player in history isn't much per year, which makes me think that LeBron recognizes this is no other player has played more than 22 years. When he takes the court this year, this will be his 24th season. So he recognizes, even though he's still good, that he'll probably have a more limited role. That he'll probably see, not that many games where he's playing, more than like 45 minutes. He'll probably think that to keep him in good health, he'll be averaging maybe 32 minutes a game.
Yeah, that sounds good. And like I said, he's going to a team that's already got strong players and was already a contender. So this could possibly take them over the top. We'll see how it plays out. There's been a lot of moving parts and everything like that. I also read an article where they said that this is one of the most expensive years for NIL. Apparently, I think the cheapest you can get by to front a good caliber team is like in the millions of dollars and everything like that. So there was an article that I was reading yesterday about how you really have to be paying your folks a lot of money through NIL and other things to put together a contending college team as the college season is less than 100 days.
College under NCAA rules for the past 5 years, a little more. Used to be the college scholarship players were under strict controls. They couldn't earn any money for name, image, or likeness, and it made it tough on a lot of players. Now, thanks to court cases and college players can get paid, and the very best get paid millions of dollars a year, which is only fair because they bring millions of dollars into their school's program. We should check in with Dr. Sharif. What's going on with you, Doctor?
Yeah, I definitely want to check in with Dr. Sharif. Before I check in with Dr. Sharif, I think it was billions. It might have been 10 billion for the top team and everything along those lines. And I actually posted on Facebook. It's something that Nick talks about a lot when he's here and all along those lines. And I think he's on the vacation, if I remember correctly. But one thing he talks about is this notion. Yeah, one of the things that he talks about quite often is this notion of are people prepared, not just college kids, but people in general, for the real world? So that's the question I posted on Facebook is if you're making, say, 10 million or 11 million while you're a college athlete, then you go to work at a corporate job where you're not making that much. Are you prepared to deal with your cost of living and just
go? No. Like most NFL players go bankrupt within a few years of leaving the NFL because the money doesn't last long. The average NFL career is like 3 years. And people are not, as Nick always complains about, like you said, people don't learn financial literacy. But here are the highest paid college athletes of the past season. So Arch Manning, who's the grandson of he's the third generation of great quarterbacks. He's not an NFL player yet. He's a college quarterback. He's the highest paid, getting $6.8 million. Carson Beck, another quarterback, $4.3 million. A wide receiver at Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith, $4.2 million. The top highest paid players are all football, and the top 10 are all getting more than $3 million a season.
Yep, and we've been joined by Jacoby. We'll see what he's got to say about sports. But before we get to that, how is it going in Bangladesh, Dr. Sharif? And what's the big news story coming out of Bangladesh?
Okay, right now, Bangladesh, I can say that we have a lot of challenge with this climate related things. Especially we have like all of the storm and all of the rainings, and many people actually face challenges. Second things, because of this wire, I just want to say that the energy sector heavily affected, especially our small medium enterprise, our household, and all of the work has a lot of challenges because of the source of energy and everything. 90% of our energy we have to buy from Middle East. Third important aspects, what I'm observing in India, that India, that cockroach Janata Party, the
Right.
Gen Z, they actually go for a very successful revolutions. What I'm talking last 7 years about this talent economy, the Gen Z go for political revolutions and so on. And they are logical revolutions supported by the whole Indian communities. And also this education minister resigned because of the corruption in examinations. This is an example that how the Gen Z, the youth generations, they are taking over the big country, the big democratic country in India. And it's not only India. Previously, it's happened in Bangladesh, in Nepal, and Indonesia, and many more countries. So it's a political, but you have to understand, because of social media, because of internet, because of AI revolutions, because of all of the things, the youth generations are very much concerned about their authority, very much concerned about their activities. So I request to my all of the North American friend and ally, first thing first, you should stop this war in between Iran and USA and Israel. It's actually creating a major impact, economical, social, and political in Asia Pacific, in South Asia, in Bangladesh. Secondly, this youth generation, they have very good political movement and understanding about the economy and policy and politics. We should give fair chance to all of the politicians and especially the youth community. And third things, now we have a lot of natural disaster, especially for the climate related challenge. So in that situation, we have to work together. We cannot deny climate related change. So that is the bottom line. So hopefully our North American ally and everything, they will perform more. But recently I'm observing that Donald Trump again come up with the idea of increasing tariff with different countries. Bangladesh also part of these things. Hope for the best. Hopefully we can go for more better political leaders and stable politics for the global community.
So I want to ask Jatovia, because this infuriated me earlier this morning. Mark asked me about a cheating scandal in the WNBA. And you look around and you can only find it on Fox News. And it turns out that the headline is WNBA cheating scandal. So you think, when there's a scandal in sport, it's point shaving and it's gambling. But then you go and you read the article, and it turns out that a WNBA player accused her ex-girlfriend, also a WNBA player, of hooking up with other WNBA players. So there's no gambling involved, and Fox News just was pushing out this blatant bullshit, which I found extremely annoying and typical of Fox News.
And that's the point. Are you shocked?
A little bit, but I mean, I'm shocked at my ability to still be shocked at this kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, that's Fox News. That's their whole. It's clickbait. They rage bait. They get views based off viewing.
All right. Speaking of rage bait, so the Republicans work hard to blame anybody but Trump for the Iran situation. So a Republican congressman over the weekend, they try to blame Biden, but this guy tried to blame Jimmy Carter for the situation in Iran. Jimmy Carter hasn't been president in more than 45 and a half years. The last time he was president was January 1981. You weren't even born yet.
1981?
That's when Carter left office. He lost.
Yeah, no, I was born.
Okay, all right, okay.
I'm 75.
Okay, all right.
Wait a minute.
So-
You told me you were 80.
Born in the 80s? No, I was born 1975.
Okay.
No, you
all
told me
right,
you
so
were 80 years old.
All right. So
No,
you were,
no.
So you were
That's
5
you,
years
Mark.
old. The last time Jimmy Carter was president, you were 5 years old.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, this is what's going on today. They cannot blame. They will never take or accept any accountability. It's always somebody else's fault.
It's always somebody else's fault, no doubt about that. Hey, Sasha, I hope you're feeling better. I know that we didn't do some of your shows over the weekend because you weren't feeling all that well. So I hope you're feeling better, but also what's going on in the Ukraine war and everything like that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that you had not been feeling well and hope that you're feeling a lot better.
Thank you, Mark. In Ukrainian war, so what's happening now is that Ukraine is doing very successful long-range strikes, their drone strikes, and they're destroying actually all Russian economy, seems to me, because if before it was just refineries and so on, now it's becoming, there is a business called Wildberries. It's an analog of Amazon here in the United States, and they destroyed almost all facilities of that business. So people are losing millions of dollars in inventory, in logistics, and sales. Everything is. While Russians are doing their strikes, ballistic and drone strikes, mostly against civil population. So they're trying to, and it never works. It never works. If you remember history, let's see, bombardments of Tokyo and Dresden, it didn't finish the war. People were continuing to fight just as before. And so, from time to time, there is bombardments of Kiev. And last night, I think it was 10 people were killed, okay? It's horrible, but it's not going to turn the war when it's a nation of 30 to 40 million people, and you lost 10. How does it affect the outcome of the war? It cannot, but it's a barbarous horrible action against civilian population. Ukraine is not doing that at all. They are destroying the concrete targets, whether it's refineries or this logistic businesses or so on. By the way, that's business Wildberries. So it's like analog of Amazon, except that they're selling a lot of arms and all kind of ammunitions and so on. So this is a very, very legitimate target for Ukraine to destroy, which they did. And they're completely, because they have warehouses in several different cities, so they're starting with the large ones, like near Moscow and St. Petersburg, and now they're going to smaller centers, and then they will repeat it. So this is a huge loss for Russian economy. That's a problem.
Well, I have numbers on that.
Yeah.
So Ukraine has reduced Russia's oil drilling by 3%. That is their ability to pull oil out of the ground, which is widely just, oil wells. But they've wrecked 20 to 40% of their refining capacity, taking the raw oil and turning it into products that can be shipped to other countries ready to use. So they're refining, when they blow up, the big old oil plants, those are huge targets, and they've blown up 20 to 40% of them. And so now Russia is forced to keep money flowing, is forced to ship crude oil to other places to be refined other places, which means, they're taking a little bit of a haircut on their products because they're shipping out unfinished product.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's what's happening. Another interesting development happened now. I don't know if you already discussed this with Iran situation. So the situation is there is that now China made very clear that Iran is their strategic partner, and they are going to help Iran in case of U.S. Full-scale invasion. So did Russia. Now, the U.S. generals advising Trump that he cannot fight all countries at once. It's impossible. It's a suicidal idea, and it will lead the United States to such catastrophic situations that it's never happened before. So no wonder that Trump stopped this active bombardments of Iranian targets. Iran made it clear that they are willing to come back to this memorandum of understanding exactly where it stopped. They're not going to amend it. They're not going to change it. They're not going to discuss it anymore. They're going just point by point. Okay, this is done. This is done. There's a big problem with, if I correctly remember, Article number 5. And the Iranian says that the order is Strait of Hormuz situation, the financial lifting all the sanctions and everything else against Iran. And only once first and second is done, then comes nuclear business about their promises not to produce the nuclear weapons or so on or something like that. So this is the order. And Iranians are dictating the order, not US. US is not there. They should be happy that they are accepted at the table, because Iran, for several days, they were saying that no, we are not in a position to negotiate with us. We don't need any negotiations with US anyway. So anyway, maybe they will continue negotiations. It's unclear to me. It's very clear that Trump had 3, maybe 4 options. One is worse than another. Is a full-scale invasion, which they cannot do it. They have only maybe 10,000 troops available for a country of 92 million people. It's a joke. You cannot do full-scale invasion. You need army of at least 300,000, maybe even more people to do it. So this is out. Then what else?
Well, hold on. If you try to invade Iran, they bring up, they have 2/3 troops, and then they can bring up another 1/3. You're facing 1 million enemy forces if you try to invade Iran.
And it's a very capable force, even with all the damage that they withstand in the last few months, or even from last year attack. They're still very capable. They have a lot of arsenal still available, and they prove it once over and over again. They can hit the tankers, they can hit the American air base. Americans evacuated all their bases but do you understand what it means from the foreign policy point of view? Is that if American cannot defend their air bases, they cannot defend anything. So if they cannot defend anything, then hell, who needs them there? Just pack your things and go home. Nobody wants you there. That's where it's all going.
Let me bring up one good point I heard somebody make. Earlier this year, at the very beginning of the year, there was rioting in the streets of Iran. They were pissed at the regime, and the regime killed 40 to 50,000 of its own people, slaughtered them in the street. Yeah. But we didn't go to war with them then. We waited until those people had been slaughtered. Then we went to war, which meant that if we were hoping for unrest in the streets to help bring down the regime, we were way too late, because the 50,000 people who were Iranians who were most likely to help us had all been killed. Our timing was stupid.
Well, taking that point, but the problem came in when you go into another country and you start killing that country's people. regardless of whatever happened in that country, they're going to begin to rally together
Right.
against whoever's bombing them from the outside. That's just natural.
Especially since on the first day of the war, we started the war by blowing up 150 schoolgirls.
Yeah. So, I mean, take for example, that happened in this country. Everybody in 2000 was against Bush.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, then 9/11 happened,
and then everybody was
his
all,
approval
hey,
went
we're
to
gonna rally together.
97%, the highest of any president in history by far.
And so that's just natural what happened. So what we've done, we never went in. I mean, yes, the timing was poor. So this country allowed that to happen. Then this country went in and started killing their people, which caused a rally within that country. So now it's just, there was no plan. And that's the problem. And now we got, here's another one that you can look at, Rick, because I just saw this the other day.
Okay.
Now we're looking at a super spreader event because of the ships that are stalled in the Strait of Hormuz. Now you're having microbes and everything else and everything attaching themselves to the ships. So when they leave, you're having a super spreader event happening that that's going to cause a lot of problems across the globe with different diseases, a whole bunch of other things. Biomes in different areas are going to be destroyed or altered based on what's going on with this whole situation with the Strait of Hormuz.
All right, but this is hypothetical at this point, though. I'm looking at it. If you've got a bunch of ships floating in like foreign waters for months at a time because it's marine organisms. It's like mollusks and the stuff. Stuff attaches to the sides of ships if you stay anchored for long enough. So it's not like it's not human disease. It's that these tankers might drag invasive shellfish and other marine species to different ecosystems and cause bad shit that way.
And the thing is, when those things are destroyed or those things are messed up, other things happen. I mean, biomes and these ecosystems are a balance. And if they're unbalanced, yes, disease can happen.
So,
Speaking of human diseases, how concerned are we about this lettuce outbreak or this other disease that is because of it being attached to lettuce and other greens and everything like that? I'm trying to remember the name of it, but I know it's still getting reports, and I know that there are some outlets, food outlets that are not serving what they used to serve. I think Chipotle, which I'm around the corner from one of those, might be one of them. But how concerned are we about these things?
So you got 4,100 confirmed cases and another 7,400 suspected cases across 41 states. Michigan hit the hardest with more than 4,000 cases and more than 102 hospitalizations. So, for the most part, terrible, terrible diarrhea for days and days isn't going to kill you. It's just going to make your life miserable for a while.
Just going to be uncomfortable.
Haven't there been deaths from it, though?
I don't know. Let's take a look.
So, I mean, in all honesty, what we're living right now is our real life version of Oregon Trail.
Let's see. So, no reported deaths so far. But as I said, if you add up the probable and the confirmed cases, more than 11,500 total cases of people miserable, and possibly shitting themselves in public. When you have this kind of
Yeah, that does sound like the greatest thing in the world. Hey, Jacoby, there's been a lot of conversation, and we talked about it last week, but I saw it on the heel as well about this notion of the split. Like there used to be a split in the Republican Party, but a split in the Democratic Party between the progressive wing and the quote unquote established Democrats. There are some people that are saying that that's what's going on in Michigan in the race with Al Sahig and a number of other races, including the one in Maine. So, Rick and Jacoby and Sasha, if you want to jump in as well, what is our thoughts about this split in the Democratic Party?
Well, the Republicans have nothing. They can't run on their record. The Republicans have screwed up everything over the past 18 months. So they're trying to portray the Democrats as in disarray. And there's a faction that kind of is half stuck to the Democrats. They've got a Democrat in their name. That the DSA is the Democratic Socialists of America, and they are far left. There aren't that many of them. They estimate national membership is 120,000, and they are the loony progressive wing, if you consider them Democrats. And they say stuff like they want to get rid of Congress. They want to close down the House, and they've got all sorts of. These are like these. The Republicans are accusing the Democrats of being communists, and they're trying to conflate the DSA, these far left lunatics, with the rest of the Democrats, which is more desperate bullshit. But if you're not paying attention, and if you watch Fox News, you might fall for it.
I don't know. In my opinion, it's healthy when there are different ideas are being discussed by a party. It's much healthier than there is only one set of ideas, and there is no room for discussions or anything. So I think perhaps it's a healthy process. I still believe that people who are talking about socialists and communists, they don't understand the meaning of these words, and they're just using them as a free will. I think, though, the closer it's getting to the election, of course, Democrats now can pay more attention to centrist ideas, because centrist ideas are being left wide open because Republicans left them. They're no longer centrist party. They're ultra-right, vicious ultra-nationalists. They left center. So it's available. So just take it over for Democrats, and it's easy. There's something else I want to discuss with you is American deficit of $40 trillion. So even if there wouldn't be a war with Iran or so on, the country cannot function normally when there is such a crazy deficit. But let me ask you, okay, you can justify the growing deficit as large as it is now, if there would be some component of that money that would make lives of ordinary Americans easier. But it's not the case. The deficit is growing and the life is becoming more and more difficult. How is that so?
Yeah, so we all know, we've complained about the Democrats for decades that they need to get better at messaging. And the current situation presents great opportunities for the Dems to do effective messaging. We're close to the end of another month, which means next week or the week after, we're going to get new inflation numbers. They'll probably be in the high threes. I haven't looked up exactly what they're going to be, but they're the highest in 4 years. And Trump is calling affordability a made-up word and a scam, even though he ran on affordability. And the Democrats need to be all over that. They need to say that the Republicans have blown all our money for nothing, for billionaires and dumb wars. But they also need to have proposals of their own as to how they will help with affordability. you know,
Okay,
small-
further to what I just said before, excuse me, I want to give you an example. For example, you create enormous deficit and debt of $40 trillion, but you are unable better education, better medical care for people, or so on, and that requires money, and that's where the deficit is growing. Fine, but if what you're doing, let's see, you now, U.S. Army lacks of interceptors for Patriots. Each interceptor missile costs, say, $3 million. And you need 100,000 of these interceptors. So multiply 100,000 by 3 million, you know what numbers we're talking about.
1/3 of $1 billion.
Exactly. So if that's what creates additional deficit and debt on the United States, so, and what's going to happen with these interceptors? They will be used in a few days of war with Iran or elsewhere, and they are done, zilch. So the manufacturers, like Patriot, Raytheon, okay, they're making money, fine. But American people are not making any money on these interceptors. So this is absolutely disregard for needs of American people. That's what's happening.
Everything you just stated, Sasha, is exactly on point. It's about our priorities, and we have forgotten that we have. And Rick, you're also right with the messaging. The thing is our priorities are set. When you're talking the Democratic Socialist Party and all the other stuff, Sasha, they don't know the terms. They don't know what these terms mean. They're saying socialism because it's scary. They're saying communism because it's scary. Fascism because it's scary. They don't understand what the actual terms mean, what their history is. They don't understand it.
Wait a second, Jitobi, now I'm thinking that it's Republicans who are much closer to socialism than Democrats. Why? Republicans took over a piece of Intel Corporation. It's a private company or a public company, of course, and so they took a large piece of Intel. Isn't it a road to socialism where everything has been nationalized and privatized?
And check this out, though, Sasha. I'll do you one better. Just recently, and I think it may be in Virginia, but there was a gas station that was supposed to have cheaper gas than everybody else. And guess who promoted that gas station that was supposedly not tied to the government, but really was, but it was dealing with price controls, and it was supposed to have the low price gas that everybody was supposed to go to.
It was a set of 75 gas stations that were supposed to be Trump gas stations that had
exactly.
Which is I don't know. So, and here's a statistic. So 58% of the people of Americans surveyed say they're doing worse under Trump compared to only 13% who say they're doing better. And these have to be the worst numbers for any president in history, I believe.
No, I think those are some of the worst numbers and everything like that. But just really quickly, I also heard that one of, I think, Trump's kids, or maybe it's a couple of his kids, have managed to lose, and you'll love this, Sasha, they managed to lose him a whole lot of money over, I think, the weekend in crypto. So apparently they were having some major crypto investments, and they lost a lot of money, but maybe you can look.
To be fair to Trump's dumb kids, it's hard not to lose a ton of money in crypto because you can't pull your money out without the money disappearing, because crypto is a confidence game. When they say con man, the con is short for confidence. And a con game is where you make your victim feel confident they're going to make a lot of money. When the confidence disappears, so does the money. And in crypto, as soon as people lose confidence in the investment, the value drops by 95%. So if the Trump kids were trying to cash out a little bit, turn some of their imaginary money into real money, they popped the bubble. Everybody saw that the investment was bullshit, and the value of it dropped hugely. And that's kind of unavoidable, even if you're not an idiot.
Yeah, crypto is not the best place to be now. That's for sure.
Crypto's not based on any underlying thing that has value. Really, it's not based on owning part of a company or owning gold. It's just that you and a bunch of other people agree that this particular crypto thing is worth this much money. And when people decide it's not worth that much money, it evaporates.
But you see, the major point of all those crypto enthusiasts for a while was a belief that, okay, if you take fiat money, like dollars, what do they represent? Why are they so valuable? Are they backed by gold or by anything substantial? Probably not. So then what's the difference between fiat money, like US dollars, and crypto, like Bitcoin, for example? Well, I think major thing is that with real money, you can buy almost anything what's available there. And with crypto, with Bitcoin, you can buy, I don't know what you can buy with Bitcoin. Let's see if I would have a couple of Bitcoins. What can I do with them except that exchange them into dollars rather than that? So the belief is that as long as people believe that Bitcoin and crypto stands for something, or at least there is a huge mass of people that believes that it represents a value, and value represents in US dollars. Now, if that sense and number of believers will dwindle, then so Bitcoin will go down. And you know what's the problem with the Bitcoin? That normally when the stock of good company, let's say it goes down, the earnings report was not so great and so on. Okay, so it will make its bottom and then start slowly to recover. Normally that's what's happening. With Bitcoin, there is no mechanism for recovery, because recovery can happen if more and more people wants to buy Bitcoin rather than sell it. But there is people already sold Bitcoin and they will not come back to Bitcoin. They will go into something else because they already had their not so great experience with Bitcoin. They will move into something else. So where are new buyers? There is a law of supply and demand. Supply, we understand. Where is the demand for Bitcoin? Who is staying in line and say, I want to buy Bitcoins, please sell me a couple of Bitcoin? Where is all that?
The crypto, there's a whole class of suckers out there who've been taught not to believe in a bunch of stuff. They don't believe in vaccinations. They believe the 2020 election was stolen. And then the crypto deal is they don't believe that the US government is legit. And crypto offers supposedly an opportunity to have a store of value that's not connected to a big government that could screw you. But because it's not connected to a big government, it's subject to crises of confidence, which can wipe out value. And
Yeah, definitely can do that. Get ready to wind down and everything along those lines. By the way, I did see a news story where an exhausted Lindsey Graham complained that his GOP colleagues would not help him when he was sick before he passed away. So this is a new report that just came out in the last day or so. But he's complaining and was complaining that his GOP colleagues wouldn't come to his aid as he needed his.
Lindsey Graham's death is largely on Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham was having all sorts of chest pain, and he should have gone to the hospital. But he didn't. He's like, no, I have to go on Meet the Press. And with what he had, which is an aortic dissection, which is where one of your major blood vessels just tears apart like an old hose. The only way you can not die from that is to already be at the hospital when it blows out. So I don't see how Lindsey Graham's colleagues could have gotten him to the hospital if he didn't want to go to the hospital.
That makes sense. But we're going to go out with the old IBM intro, because I actually did this show on my StreamYard instead of the usual StreamYard. So y'all will see something from back in the day and everything like that. But we're here together.
Tell people to hang around for Economics Monday.
Yes, please do hang around for Economics Monday.
So it will be on the same channel like this one?
Different